Buckle up, because today's headlines are absolutely sizzling, and trust me, you're going to want to hear every single word. Philippe Clement's job hanging by a thread. A new CEO with connections to a legendary Premier League manager. Oh, we'll get into that. And just wait until we uncover the 6 massive fires this new CEO, Patrick Stewart, has to put out on day one. But that's not all. Chris Sutton's been at it again, running his mouth about Rangers fans, calling out your loyalty in his latest pathetic jab. Václav Cerny, one of our brightest sparks this season, but it sounds like he's already planning his exit. And then there's Haji back in the spotlight and making us all wonder why on earth he's been sidelined this whole time. Stick around, because by the end of this, you'll have plenty to say and probably a few opinions you won't be able to keep to yourself. Let's dive in. So here we go. Ali McCoist's let slip a right juicy one, hasn't he? Apparently there's breaking news brewing at Rangers today, and it's not about booting Philippe Clement out the door, though plenty of folks seem ready to pack his bags for him. McCoist reckons the changes are aimed higher up at the boardroom level. A new CEO, possibly that Patrick Stewart from Manchester United, and Malcolm Offord set to take the chairman's chair. Sounds like they're giving the club hierarchy a proper shakeup, doesn't it? Long overdue, if you ask most fans. Now, McCoist's also pointed out the obvious. Clement's still in a job, partly because Rangers aren't exactly swimming in cash to sack him. He's hanging on despite the boos echoing round Rangers after that woeful 1-1 draw with Dundee United. 11 points behind Celtic in the league. It's enough to make your tea go cold. The whispers about Clement walking or being shown the door were rubbished by the club, calling the rumours nonsense. But let's face it, the pressure's heavier than a winter coat soaked in rain. Clement's next big test comes on Thursday against Nice in the Europa League. If he can't pull off a miracle soon, surely even a shiny new board won't save him. Here's one to get your thoughts going. If the boardroom changes go through today, and they really do give Clement the boot in the near future, should the club break the bank for a top-class manager? Or is it time to finally admit we're rebuilding and look for someone long-term? What do you think? So, Patrick Stewart's appointment looks all but set, eh? The man's got nearly 2 decades of experience at Old Trafford and is walking into a Rangers setup that's, let's face it, in absolute disarray. 6 months we've waited for a new CEO, and now we've got one with ties to David Moyes. That David Moyes. You know, the same Moyes who cut his teeth as a player over at Parkhead back in the 80s. He's no stranger to Glasgow, but it's the wrong half, isn't it? The guy's managed West Ham, Everton, even Real Sociedad, but the part that'll raise a few eyebrows is his ill-fated stint replacing Sir Alex Ferguson at Manchester United. Bit of a poisoned chalice, that, and he knows all about working under massive pressure. Still, Rangers and United are 2 completely different beasts. Now, if Clement gets the sack, which, let's face it, feels like a matter of time, would Moyes even want the job? And more importantly, would you want him here? A former Celtic player in the Rangers dugout? Is it a smart move to tap into his experience, or would it be a betrayal of our very DNA? Go on, get stuck in with your thoughts. Well, Patrick Stewart certainly has his work cut out for him, hasn't he? The man might have survived nearly 20 years at Old Trafford, but stepping into Rangers now is like walking into a house on fire with a bucket that's half empty. Let's break it down and see what's on his massive to-do list. Sorting out Clement's future, 11 points behind Celtic, and the fans are fed up. Clement's start to life at Rangers has been poor, but to be fair, he walked into chaos. Even so, the results have been unacceptable. Patrick Stewart's first big decision will likely be whether to stick with Clement or show him the door. If he does go, who replaces him? Moyes? Someone else? It's a decision that will shape the rest of the season, delivering January transfer plans. Rangers desperately need reinforcements, and the January window could be a turning point. Interim chairman John Gilligan has promised there's money to spend, but fans want to see quality, not more gambles on injury-prone or championship-level players. With a threadbare squad and massive games ahead, Stewart must ensure the right deals are made. Rebuilding Rangers player trading model, selling Patterson, Arabo, and Bassi for good money should have been the foundation for sustained success. Instead, it's been wasted on overpriced signings that don't deliver. Meanwhile, Celtic's player trading model runs like a well-oiled machine. Stewart needs to change this fast. Rangers can't afford to keep getting it wrong. Fixing Rangers' executive structure, the revolving door at the top of Rangers, has caused instability throughout the club. Roles are poorly defined or left vacant, and every department suffers as a result. Stewart must establish a structure that provides consistency so the club doesn't crumble every time someone leaves. Solving Rangers' financial troubles, a £17 million loss in the latest accounts, is a red flag. Fans don't want to hear excuses, they want action. The club must find a way to be competitive without risking another financial disaster. Stewart and Offord's connections to the Premier League and the City of London could be key here, restoring Rangers' identity and standards. The bond between the club and its fans has been badly damaged. Supporters want players, coaches, and executives who understand what it means to represent Rangers. Without that sense of identity, everything else feels hollow. Stewart must bring back the pride and passion that defines this club. Should Stewart focus first on the team's immediate performance, like transfers and Clement, or is fixing the club's long-term identity and financial health more important? What matters most to you? Chris Sutton's at it again, stirring the pot and having a pop at Rangers fans after that uninspiring 1-1 draw with Dundee United. He reckons we couldn't be bothered to show up, calling the result pathetic and questioning the team's effort, and ours too, apparently. Typical Sutton, eh? Always ready to twist the knife, especially when Rangers are in the firing line. Now, Robbie Savage jumped in to defend us, pointing out that Dundee United are sitting fourth, hardly a pushover, but let's not kid ourselves here. Rangers fans don't pay to watch mediocrity. We're sitting third, 11 points off Celtic and 8 behind Aberdeen. It's embarrassing, plain and simple, and the performances don't exactly scream we're turning a corner, do they? Clement's clinging on for now, but let's be honest, how much longer can this go on? There's no spark, no identity, no real belief on the pitch. The fans are fed up, and the players look just as frustrated. Sutton might be a wind-up merchant, but he's not completely wrong. Rangers fans do expect better because we've seen better. So, here's one to ruffle a few feathers. Is the real issue Clement, the players, or the club as a whole? And if the fans are starting to lose interest, who's really to blame? Václav Cerny's already packing his bags in his head, isn't he? The lad's made it clear he sees his future back at Wolfsburg, not at Rangers. And can you blame him, given the state we're in? A team floundering in third, no stability in the boardroom, a manager hanging on by a thread, and fans understandably frustrated. It's not exactly the most enticing pitch to stick around, is it? Cerny's been one of the few shining lights this season, 6 goals and plenty of fight in a team that's been seriously lacking it. Every time he steps on the pitch, he looks like he actually cares, which is more than can be said for some. But even with his contributions, it's hard to see Rangers coughing up what Wolfsburg would demand for him, especially with the financial mess we're in. And let's not forget, why would he commit to a club that's still trying to figure out where it's going? The uncertainty from top to bottom is bound to make any player hesitate, especially one who's good enough to get offers elsewhere. Here's the kicker for you. If Rangers can't keep Cerny, is it down to finances, the mess behind the scenes, or just the reality that players like him see us as a stepping stone these days? What do you think? The Iannis Haji situation really has you scratching your head, doesn't it? Here's a lad who brings the kind of creativity and composure we're screaming out for, yet he's spent most of the season either sidelined or overlooked by Clement. It's bizarre, especially when the team has been crying out for someone with his vision and ability to unlock defenses. Against Dundee United, Haji came on at half-time and immediately showed why he shouldn't have been left in the wilderness to begin with. He kept things ticking, linked up well, and gave the side a calmness on the ball that's been sorely lacking. And sure, he wasn't flashy, but he was effective, and that's more than can be said for some who've had plenty of chances to impress. Clement's reluctance to trust Haji is baffling. 0 starts and just 3 league appearances so far for a player who's proven in the past that he can deliver in big moments. Meanwhile, Dezers looks lost up front, and Diamanda struggled to offer anything meaningful in midfield before being hooked. If Clement has any sense, he'll take the hint and start Haji against St Johnstone. But here's the question. Was Haji's exile purely down to Clement's judgment, or is there something deeper at play behind the scenes? And more importantly, do you think we'll regret pushing a talent like him to the fringes? Comment below what you think about the news. Don't forget to leave a like on the video to help me out. I post videos every day talking about our Rangers, so if you're not subscribed, you're missing out on the latest news. See you soon!